Hi, I'm Carrie, a stroke survivor and bind member.
And I'm Kezia, brain injury survivor and a member of Bind as well. Welcome to our episode of Bind Waves. Today's episode is going to be about looking into the future. And we have a great guest. Her name is Susan, and she is one of our social team members and is born and raised in a small town of Texas. Welcome, Susan.
Welcome, Susan. We're glad to have you here. Will you tell us a little bit about you and how your injury occurred?
Yes, thank you for having me. I came upon Bind after I had partially recovered in rehab from a brain tumor, size of a baseball. Hard to picture that, right?
Yes, it is.
And it was taken care of surgically. And after that, I've been moving and growing and doing all the bind stuff.
Thank you for sharing that, especially about the size of it. I like you said, I can't picture it. That's insane. But thank you for sharing it.
Welcome to Bindwaves, the official podcast of the Brain Injury Network of Dallas. I'm Brian White, Bind's Executive Director. On each episode, we'll be providing insight into the brain injury community. We'll be talking to members and professionals regarding their stories and the important role of Bind's Clubhouse. We work as a team to inspire hope, community, and a sense of purpose to survivors, caregivers, and the public. Thank you for tuning into Bindwaves. Let's get on with the show.
So you told us that you've been growing and doing all of that stuff and being a member of Bind. So how did you get connected to the Clubhouse?
That's a great question. Bind has a lot of supporters, but we can always use more. I became connected to the Clubhouse through a rehab that I went to, a neuro rehab that I went to called PATE. And PATE was wonderful. And it was through PATE that I was suggested or recommended to go to Bind for follow-up therapy. So here I am.
Awesome. We're so happy that you're here. So tell us what a typical day looks like when you come to Bind for you. You know, what a typical day looks like when you get here and moving and grooving and getting it going.
Okay. I began coming to Bind in the summer of 2018, and I was automatically and magnetically attracted to the programs and services and especially the people. With members of Bind and staff, I developed a really great connection because we can help each other. It's helped me a lot because it was different from what I'd experienced before. I could walk again and talk again, and here I am.
Yes, of course. I think looking towards the future, I think that's one of the things that I think would be really important for us to talk about. So I think you had just mentioned, yesterday that you have recently moved. So that change, how has that been?
That has been a wonderful way to begin a new season. It's already been a year since I moved out of my home into a condo, downsizing, as we all have heard.
Yes.
And preparing to move was difficult. I was in my home here for 28 years, and I've been in my new place for a year exactly.
Oh, wow.
So that went fast.
It did go fast. It just seems like that was yesterday.
Yeah, I feel like you had just mentioned it, and I'm like, wait a minute, a year? Time goes by so fast.
It does.
When your anniversary of moving, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not just talking about, we know Bind helps us all with our future and how to look forward to our future, but
Right.
I know you've been involved a little bit in Bring Back to Bind, which Bind is looking forward to its future. Can you tell us a little bit about what Bind's future looks like for our listeners?
I sure can. Thank you. For our listeners, Back to the Future and moving forward include a very exciting new Bind in Fort Worth, and it's very new. It's been going for about 2 weeks now, I believe. And moving forward with Bind in Plano, which is our new podcast, and some of the other awesome things going on here in far North Dallas, Plano.
Awesome. I know we're working on getting new computers for the office, or for the clubhouse itself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I actually, I love pointing out the amazing things that you guys have been doing. You called out this new podcast that we're doing, but I think it's great to also mention that it was won through a North Texas Giving
North
Day.
Texas Giving Day.
Right,
Yes.
it's been donated by North Texas Giving Day, but
Yes.
you were in that video that had us win, right?
Yeah, we had to submit a video to be chosen to win. And I don't know, I think it was 5 or 6 different nonprofits that did it. But yeah, you were one of our members that helped create the video entrance that helped us win this wonderful podcast from On Air Media.
And it is. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I love that you're also very active with our social media, which is the future, I think, of Bind. It's activeness. So how is it going with the social media team?
Social media team is really incredible. We get together and we put together the social media and for the website, Facebook, and other learning tools, and it's going great.
What are some of the things that you've learned that are something new that you probably wouldn't have learned about?
I've learned a whole lot about Zoom when we have these meetings to plan something. I have learned a whole lot about our Facebook and using the program Canva to put together newsletters, agendas, and other communications. And that's been pretty much the big stuff.
So that's another thing to talk about moving towards the future. Bind is still helping you learn new things to help you as your future goals.
Yes.
Continue to grow and learn.
Great.
Never-ending learning process in our life, our new lives here after our injuries.
So with the new things that you've been learning through Bind, through yourself, through your move, the new locations of Bind, all of these changes that will continue to happen.
Yes.
What is what you would want to make sure in regards to all of that new future be something you want to share with others, with other survivors, anyone?
Brain injury recovery takes a while. We have people who've been here weeks and months, and then some who have been at Bind for many years. And every brain injury is difficult and different. So to learn how to rehab, I think that says it all.
Absolutely. I know you do a lot of brain activities to keep your brain recovery going. Mm-hmm. I know you like to do Zentangles and word games and different things like that. What would you encourage? It's not actually just for brain injury survivors, but anyone to help keep that brain recovery going, because everyone needs to work on their brain as they get older, not
Yes.
just brain injury survivors.
Exactly. And a lot of people have cell phones these days, and we usually have it with us wherever we go. There are a couple of games I can recommend. One is Wordscapes, word and then scape, SCAPES. That helps me a lot, and I enjoy the games, making up words with letters that they present on the phone. And another one that I enjoy, you mentioned Zentangles. I enjoy Zentangles because anyone 9 years and older are able to draw something according to what is shown on either YouTube or some even on Pinterest. So that's fun too.
That's awesome. Those are a lot of good things.
I don't have any of those games on my phone. I think I just need to download them.
Oh, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think that's great. I need to definitely remember those words.
Yeah,
so
I can Wordscapes.
Wordscapes?
Yeah.
That's a good one, definitely. Yay.
I need to make sure. So remind me after the podcast
Okay.
to get them, okay?
I'll put that in this drawer back here.
Right.
In the drawer back there. Thank you. So I wanted to kind of relearn about some of the things that you've been doing to like look into the future of Bind. What are some other activities that you're really active in to keep working on Bind to be getting bigger, being more available for other people, more available for other survivors? What is like your favorite thing to do at Bind?
My favorite thing to do at Bind is to contribute with my talents and skills, blogs for either Facebook or the website, writing and thinking. And I enjoy personally doing art. It's one of my favorite things. Those two at least.
Yeah, and I know for our listeners, Susan, you're also a big contributor in helping other people with the blogs, editing them and helping give feedback, because some of us need some help with that. We're not the wordsmith that you are. You have the background to be able to do that. And for those listeners that you don't know, you can always find our blogs on our website, thebind.org. So those are always out there and available.
Absolutely.
And Susan, you stay very motivated. Can you help us? Can you help others give some ideas on how to stay so positive and motivated after a brain injury?
I seem to be that way regardless of a brain injury or not a brain injury. And it's fun for me. I get a lot of enjoyment just out of smiling, because I know those endorphins are just waiting to be released.
Yeah, I love that. Endorphins
Yeah.
are just waiting to be released.
Yes.
I can notice that on your smile. And
They are.
those that are listening to us and not watching us on YouTube, her smile is great. Her smile is great.
Thank you.
So the blogs, you're typing them up into our website, but if it was like literally physical viewing, one of your talents is, I can't say it, calligraphy?
Yes,
Yes.
calligraphy is one.
Yeah. I
That's
tried to have her teach me, but it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, it's a rare talent.
It is a rare
It
talent.
takes a while.
Yeah.
And you have a brain injury.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, no, today's not the patient's, maybe tomorrow. So that's great. But also, part of the writing that we do throughout the social media team, I feel like you're the number one that helps us rewrite that sentence to actually make more sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
And I guess that comes from your background in PR. Is that what it was?
PR and news media journalism.
Okay. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
where that comes from.
All
It
that
helps
we
us
had
a
to
lot.
do.
Can
Yeah,
you tell us a
exactly.
little bit more about I know this isn't the future, but I think it's how you contribute to the future of Bind. What was like your first job? I like this question.
First job. My
Yeah.
first job was in a smaller town west of here in the Permian Basin oil fields. And my family owned a radio station. And all of us were working in it, doing something that we could actually do. I remember so many records. Oh, vinyl.
Vinyl, right?
Right. For those listeners that are of the younger age, we didn't have, I don't even know what you call them now. We didn't have MP3s and whatever it is now.
I was gonna
Vinyl.
say DVDs, but that's the wrong word.
Yeah, that's movies. Yeah.
That's movie. That's
Yeah.
movie.
Vinyl is the original way and the only way to go for the true musical artists.
True. Very true. And fun. I just loved the today's sound out of records. And these days I still listen to it.
That's awesome. So you're our perfect podcast guest because you have the radio experience.
That's true. That's true. I do. I grew up in one and then I went to work for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I also think that she's like a great member of the social media team, which is now called the business unit.
Well, the social media team is part of the business unit, which is growing. A lot of our units, for the listeners that still are trying to understand the clubhouse, a lot of our units have a lot of overlap. We work together. It's not like communications, it works by itself, and they're just communications, or outreach and advocacy doesn't do anything. We all help each other. We all work together. There's a lot of overlap between all the groups. So social media involved, we need input from communications, O&A, and and our business unit is kind of heading that up, spearheading it, because we have a work readiness program as well that's in the business unit. So it's all kind of working its way back into there. So I know Susan's very active in the business unit and getting going on that.
The overlap is important
Yes.
because we can teach each other.
Absolutely.
That's really fun.
Yes, definitely. Helping one another and each unit and each purpose is so necessary to just continue growing. And I think that's like the main focus of today's conversation, our podcast, is just looking towards the future of Bind and how more can we be more creative with the skills from one another. Like what else can we do together and continue developing the purpose of Bind.
Right. And how much more can we help people out there? Like for our listeners, we're trying to not just reach brain injury survivors and giving them a place where they can go, but we also are wanting to educate the general public so they understand that after a brain injury, we're still just like everybody else. We feel the same, we act the same, we work, we go out, we do what we need to do, and there's really nothing different about us except for we've had a brain injury.
Exactly. And some people are greatly affected. It impacts their lives in just like every little category, and others are not. You couldn't tell that a person here had a brain injury, but most of the people here do, or work with them.
Yeah, exactly. Either we had a brain injury and it's not visible, but we have it, or you're just an amazing volunteer, an amazing staff member, and can continue helping us heal. But then we have also people here like you that have different skills. You have different skills, we have different skills, and we're here to just continue having Bind grow and have different skills together. So I love
Definitely.
it.
Yeah. Well, Susan, thank you again for being here today on our podcast. And we look so forward to more of the work that you'll do with us here in the future at Bind. So thank you again for being here on our podcast.
Thank you very much for having me at Bindwaves.
Thank you so much for being here. We look forward to all of the work that you continue to have, like Carrie said. So thank you so much.
And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to episode 12 of Bindwaves. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, please look for those and catch up on our other episodes of Bindwaves.
And don't forget, our social media team has Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and probably many more to come. So
Twitter,
make sure.
LinkedIn, we're everywhere you can find us. You can find us. Thebind.org is our website, and that's the Twitter handle, the Instagram handle, all the other good stuff. So thank you again for listening and joining us. Have a great day.
I'm Michael. I'm a member here at Bind since 2016, so for the last 6 years. And this book is a collection of our individual stories and some artwork. If you would think you would like to pick one of these up, you can either go to our website or come into the clubhouse and pick one up in person.
Jimmy, I had my traumatic brain injury in 1992. What we were told then and what we're told now has completely been updated across the board. We were told then that whatever damage occurred was permanent and could not be replaced, but now we know that unused portions of the brain will augment the parts that have been damaged.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bind Waves and continue to support Bind and our nonprofit mission.
We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into the life, the community, and their workplace.
And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Continue watching. Until next time.
Until next time.
Hello. We hope you are enjoying our podcasts. There are many ways for you to get involved in our work and support Bind's Brain Injury Network. Make a donation now at thebind.org. Shop the Bind store on our website. Become a Bind volunteer. Contact our team today to help make a difference in the lives of brain injury survivors. Don't forget, donate, shop, volunteer, and get involved.